Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Eddie with Player 2 Gaming.
Hey, it's Ethan. I'm here.
And Jordan's here. I'm here. Hello.
Alright, and today we're going to be giving our first impressions, review, discussion, whatever you want to call it, of Fallout 4. This is not our formal review. To our 20 subscribers, you probably know that we don't actually have access to like review copies and crap like that, so at least it might come out next week, our final review. But I mean, there's a lot in this game, and that's kind of what we're going to be talking about, just informal discussion. So far, what do you guys think of the game?
It's great. I love it.
I like it. I enjoy it. It's a good game.
I love it. I mean, a little bit of background. If you've been watching for any amount of time, you know Jordan and I have been talking about this game like almost every podcast we do. Fallout 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. And Jordan, I mean, he loves all Bethesda games.
Well, the three that I've played.
Yeah.
Four now.
And I mean, I know you like Elder Scrolls a lot. You're not like super.
Yeah, no, I enjoy the Elder Scrolls games a ton.
I know you.
I really enjoyed them.
You played a lot of New Vegas, but you didn't play much of 3. Is that right? Or I can't
Yeah, I definitely played more of New Vegas than I did of 3.
So you were a little bit of a later bloomer than us, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. I was around when. Sorry to interrupt you, Eddie. But I mean, like Fallout 3. It came out, and I was just, I don't know. We got it, and I definitely played it, but it didn't click with me, I guess. And then I don't know. I guess I was a little older when New Vegas came out, and I just wanted to give it more of a try, I guess. And plus, I don't know. They made improvements that personally I like the aim down sights and stuff like that I just personally really enjoyed. Because like VATS was just too jarring for me. I don't know. I just don't enjoy it, which is nice that in this game, it doesn't even have to use it. Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, we'll get to that. It's just that you get my point. I feel New Vegas seemed more accessible.
I played a lot of both. I played an insane amount of Fallout 3. I played a lot of New Vegas. I think I played like 3 characters on New Vegas, something like that.
Dude, I've got to have like 200 hours at minimum logged between those 2 games.
Oh,
probably way more than that.
No, I have
probably 200 each, actually.
Yeah, I have 200 each at least. But anyways, that's not the point. We're here to talk about Fallout 4. No worries, the game is awesome. Don't worry about that at all. I love it. There are some things to talk about, and again, we're not even close to finishing the game. I'm 25 hours in or something like that. I'm on story mission 2.
Let me check my stats, actually.
Because I mean, this game is dense. This game has a lot to it. And we'll be talking about a lot of that. But first, just to kind of follow format, I guess we'll first talk about something that's kind of the elephant in the room when you talk about this game, the graphics and the presentation. So I wanted to kind of open that up for discussion first because I seen it on PC, on Ultra, on PC. Chris, my roommate, he has it. And truth be told, it's not insanely better than on console.
I was actually just Chili got it, and he was playing it on Ultra just literally minutes ago. I was watching him play it.
And I mean, it looks better. Like, I'm not gonna say it doesn't look better, but it's not like, you know what I mean. It's not like how Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas was.
No, everything looks sharper, but it's definitely not. It's not that much of a jump.
Ambient occlusion and things like that, but it's not a jump. And to be honest, the graphics themselves, for me, are kind of a mixed bag. I think the lighting is really good, actually. As you'll see, I'm just doing this over random gameplay. We're not following any sort of editing. Like, you're just going to be seeing me playing a random portion of the game. And I'm sure you can see in the gameplay, the lighting looks really good. And when I'm running around outside in the wasteland during the day, especially in like third person or first person, but third person, I'm like, wow, this game looks really good. But then you get close to something and you see the textures. And it's like, oh, okay, it's a little muddy. And then you go, for me, the one that really is an indicator is you go into a subway or you go into like something underground, and it's like, okay, this does not look so good. And then the biggest offense to me is you go up and talk to somebody, and the facial animations are it's bad. They're just bad. Like, there's no, I haven't seen even people who absolutely adore this game, who will like not even talk about some of the other flaws that I think are there. Everybody's like, yeah, the facial animations are bad. They're just not very good. So like, I don't know. What do you guys think about like the graphics and stuff?
I basically agree with all that you said, but I'm gonna put the caveat in that it doesn't like really matter to me. So I agree with you.
Yeah, and I mean like not
Yeah.
a whole lot of people are gonna be like, trying
Yeah,
to...
but yeah, the facial animations are janky, but we talked about this before. There's a reason why. I'm not gonna give it an excuse. That's not an excuse. I'm just saying there is a reason why.
But I mean there is.
Which
that
is,
being said,
for those uninitiated, is the fact that the buzzword here is that the animations are all procedural. So
yeah, but I mean even then like that's true,
yeah.
but like it still looks like shit. It's still...
Yeah, no, I mean the proof's in the pudding, right? But that being said, god damn, it is a huge improvement over 3 in New Vegas. It's not the awkward like 2-inch or the 1,000-yard stare.
Absolutely, and I like the fact that they have the dialogue camera and that you can like run away from it and things like that.
Yeah.
That helps it a bit, but yeah, there's times when I'm just like, oh, they almost have it. That word lined up with the lips.
Syncing.
Yeah, word lined up with the lips, and then it just goes. But you don't really play Fallout for its graphical fidelity. I'm not trying to give it a write-off for that. Like when we are actually going to review it and give it a score, I personally, like, obviously we've already talked about this is probably a review we'll discuss before we do a score, you know what I mean? But for me, like, there are some things I'm like, I'm not going to forgive it completely, but you're not really playing open world Bethesda games for like incredible graphics, and aesthetically, the presentation is great. The presentation.
That's what I was gonna bring up.
Yeah.
I just love the freaking art style. And the thing is like, background real quick is that, unfortunately, recently one of their main concept artists, Adam, I don't remember his last name. He passed away.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so you actually, for me at least, knowing that, I do notice that the aesthetic of the game is pretty different, even from Skyrim. Because even Fallout 3 and Skyrim sort of had ties together aesthetically.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I feel.
And it's different. And not bad, not in a bad way. It's a little bit refreshing, to see a lot of stuff looking new. And I think again, like that just comes with the progression of systems too. But again, I will point you to the fact that the same monsters in Oblivion and Skyrim look dramatically different. So that's probably part of it too.
Well,
but
yeah.
Anyway,
and I heard a good comparison. Not saying aesthetically, this is to Fallout 3 what Skyrim was to Oblivion, which was kind of more of their vision being brought to light, like especially in like feral ghouls or something. Holy crap!
those things are great.
Yeah, feral ghouls, death claws, all look great, and power armor.
I think the Mirelurks are creepy.
Oh yeah, no, it all aesthetically looks great, and of course that's mixed with the Fallout atmosphere that like makes me love the game so much. The reason why I'd say it is one of my favorite universes in games is because like I'm running around shooting mutated humans and giant crabs while listening to like Bob Crosby, and I mean that's still in this game, and there's not a whole lot to say other than that. They nailed that, just like they have all the other games. And it feels really good to be in that universe again and playing it again. And the sound itself, the sound design and stuff is great. I actually like the voice acting in the protagonists.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I've actually, for me, it gives me a little bit more incentive to play the story and to kind of understand it a little bit more and kind of get a feel for my character's personality. You know
what I've heard, which I totally agree with actually, is the fact that it feels more like a movie scene now. I find myself almost never skipping dialogue anymore.
I don't. I haven't skipped it.
I wasn't one to normally skip it in the past, but like if there was something that I was like, okay, sure, then I would just kind of skip through it. I haven't done that at all. Even when I'm talking to the merchants and stuff, it's so cool to see your character actually interacting with people, like actually doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's funny because there's something on a little tangent here that people always said that like the writing for your player character in Bethesda games was bad because it sounded like out of place. But the weird thing is I don't think these lines that the player character is speaking are like that profound or interesting, but the fact that you're actually saying them just makes it seem so much better.
It puts a little bit more investment, I think, into the character. And admittedly, I don't hate the dialogue wheel as much as I thought I would. Like, you remember before we got the game,
skeptical.
Like, I was super skeptical about it. Like, I honestly was like irritated. But I don't think the dialogue wheel is game breaking at all. Actually, I kind of
like it so far.
I kind of like it because it does have those divulging paths. You know, like ask a question, ask another question, and you know, it plays with the charisma system a little bit more. I like it. I like the dialogue wheel, and I like
it feels very natural too.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And I want to say one thing also.
Yeah, go for
just the presentation for the cinematic cameras is like, it's great because the one thing that you always think of when you are playing these types of games is, why spend so much time in the character creator if you're never even going to see yourself? Well, now you do all the time.
Exactly.
And I also took note of the fact that a lot of the helmets don't have like face coverings because you want.
I noticed that too. Moving. Actually, that's cool you bring that up because I did notice that. Other than like some of the Raider gear and then obviously power armor, you do see your character's face a lot.
I have some freaking kick-ass sunglasses. Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess kind of just moving off. By the way, before just putting it out there, third person is viable this time.
I haven't tried it really.
I use third person all the time. Like when I'm running around, that's what I use. I'll still shoot in first just because I feel like I have a little bit more control. But you can shoot completely fine in third person. It feels like GTA or something.
I heard it feels like GTA with a little bit of Dead Space.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. It feels a lot like GTA. I mean, it feels for me a lot like GTA. Admittedly, the cover system is a little broken. Like, I don't know if you've tried the cover system.
I've tried it. It's okay. Like, I've been able to use it successfully a few times, but I mean, I don't ever find myself relying on it because let's be real, you're not gonna get killed that fast. It's a Fallout game.
But yeah, I mean, that being said, it's contextual, but it's not very good at being contextual.
No, I mean, I don't think they advertised it for probably that reason. But
so I guess moving on to gameplay, there's a lot of improvements, obviously, from Fallout 3. A lot of improvements I wanted to see. Jordan, you and I, a long time ago, like 4 years ago, we were talking about this game. Both agreed.
Everything that I wanted them to do, they did. They have a grenade button and they have a melee button.
Yeah, we both talked about. Now, admittedly, I don't know how I feel about them being both mapped onto the same button, but
it's a little weird. But I've been able to use it successfully. Well, it's a little tricky because, like, when you're throwing a frag grenade, I've noticed that like you hear a click, and that's basically like you pull the pin, right, and then you let it go. You can cook your grenades, and I've done that a couple times, and it's a little bit difficult to get used to. It's gonna take some practice.
No, it is. Like, it's difficult.
It's really cool.
But it's nice to have it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's something that we talked about. In general, we talked about it wanting to be a little bit more of a first-person shooter, mechanically, like the way the shooting feels, and it absolutely does. Like Ethan, you were saying, like you don't really need to use VATS in this game. Like you can play the game without VATS.
Yeah, I haven't used VATS once.
Really?
No, I haven't used VATS. I don't use VATS.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a testament to the game that you can use VATS, or you don't have to use VATS. You know, they have hit indicators, and I'm not gonna say hit markers because it has a bad connotation to it.
Which I still don't get.
No, I don't get that either. But whatever. And I mean, it has better shooting mechanics in general. You can sprint. You can, like you said, throw grenades. All that thing. That gameplay feels.
I have
really
a
good.
bayonet on my hunting rifle, and meleeing people with that is like. Ooh.
Also, I think that they put a little bit of improvement into certain mechanics that I thought were a little bit of crutches in 3. In 3, not as much in New Vegas, but it was still kind of there in New Vegas, which was VATS, freezing time. Like, it doesn't freeze time anymore. It just slows it down. But, like, there's been times I've died while I'm in VATS because...
I love that. And then, like, people are moving, and you, like, have... Like, if they're, like, running from... Like, I had this one time when I was fighting a raider, and he was, like, a raider boss. I don't remember what kind. I think he was a psycho or something. And he was, like, running... And he was like strafing behind a car, and I went to VATS, right? But then I was in front of the car, so I couldn't hit him yet, and I had to wait, and wait, and wait, and then he popped out, and then I got him. So it's really cool. It makes it feel like way more dynamic. Which is awesome.
No, absolutely. I really like that they changed VATS, because it has me using it a little bit smarter, I guess, because like what I used to do in 3 in New Vegas was, I don't know if you ever did this.
You get ambushed and then you freak out and hit the VATS button to like figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I would hit VATS to kind of get like a view of like what's going on in the battle, get my bearings. You can't do that, especially like when you have 8 raiders rushing you. You just can't.
Side note: the battles are bigger. Also,
absolutely,
8 raiders.
They're way bigger. And so I like those improvements they did to gameplay. Also, stim packs and health all being regenerated over time instead of just instant. I think that's really nice. I mean, and they have like stim packs don't regenerate super slow, but they do. You do have a regeneration. And I've died a couple times popping a stim pack a little bit too late, and they get a shot in on me before I've healed enough. And I just like those. That keeps me a little bit more on the fringe. Also, I'm playing on hard, which does affect time a little bit. But by the way, I like hard. I usually don't like playing hard in Bethesda games, but I'm having fun with it. Just side note. Last thing I want to talk about in gameplay improvements is I really like the new rad system a lot. When I played Fallout Shelter, I remember thinking, wow, I hope they put this in the game. And they did, because I didn't care about rads at all in Fallout 3.
Until you're dead, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't care about rads. And I was talking, I told you Katie is playing Fallout 3 for the first time, and I asked her, before telling her about the new rad system, I was like, so, do you, worry about rads and all? And she was like, no, it doesn't do anything. And I was like, exactly. So guess what they did in 4? And then I explained, that it affects the health bar and things like that. Because it has me selectively picking what I'm eating, irradiated blood heals, I think, 50 HP, but it's also 12 rads. And it's like, ooh, you know what I mean? It's a trade-off.
Here's a hot tip, by the way. If you kill a mutant hound and cook it, it actually takes away your rads.
If you cook anything you cook takes away rads.
I'll have to check that. I don't know.
No, it does. It's 100%. It's because I cook everything now.
Oh, okay.
Any meat you have, just cook it.
Chef Eddie cooking up nades.
Yeah,
dude,
cooking.
Which leads us to the crafting system pretty naturally.
Yeah, that does.
Holy hell, guys!
So
it's so much fun.
Here's a new system that
it's fucking broken. It doesn't just work. Damn it.
Now, Ethan. Now, here's a system that I love, but is one of my biggest complaints with the game at the same time. And Ethan, I know you'll definitely relate. Well, Ethan, you know what? You explain it. You explain the frustration with it, I guess, because
my biggest frustration is, and don't take this for me saying, "Oh, I want it to hold my hand," because that's not what I want it to do. No. It just there is so many things that just they could have either implemented better that I still want, but they could have just put it in a menu or anything like that. But there is no tutorial for anything. Ever. I mean, they give a brief tutorial when you first get to the first area, and it's like, okay, we need you to obviously put down food and water and stuff like that. And it's that's all well and good. But electronics, none of it's explained. I don't know if it's supposed to be common sense or anything like that, but it's not working in my house. I mean, I know people got it working, but I showed you, Eddie, both you and Jordan, I think, the shit in my house, and it's just, I don't really know how to get it working properly yet. And listen, I don't want them to have a part in the game where it's here's how you do it. Honestly, just
done very easily.
Just put it in a fucking a little
an optional,
I don't know.
Just do optional.
Yeah, an optional tutorial. You could have had it be in the settings in the help thing, and a little help thing that just
the one specific thing that would have been nice is for instance, people have figured out, and I've figured out that things that are lights and stuff that's not directly connected to a generator, you have to power that through a pylon. And the pylon and the conduits and stuff have a radial effect.
Yeah. All right, but none of this is explained.
Sure, but that's what I mean. Is all they needed to do was put a description in the pylon that says powers things in a radius.
Yeah, right? Nothing has descriptions. Nothing, has any sort of in-depth description at all. And then also, it's all just very or for instance, orders, commands, and shit like that, and supply lines. No idea. Never explained at all. Didn't know I had to go up to someone to hit command supply line. And then set the supply line. And then even after I did, it had no way of telling me which areas were connected with supply lines. I thought it was on your map. No, I'm just supposed to, I checked my map. I'm just supposed to remember that these two places are already linked with supply lines. And it doesn't tell you what people in your cities are already doing other jobs, so you could accidentally command people to do jobs that they're doing other jobs.
There should be a
That's
macro
confusing.
menu
I didn't even know you could command people to do jobs until I looked that up. I didn't know that one either.
I think I agree. I don't want to get ranty. I'm sorry.
And this isn't me ranting saying I don't like it, because I like it.
And
this is a lot of good shit they're putting in. I like
it. Holy crap!
Yeah,
so much fun.
Dude,
it's a lot of shit. It's robust. It's got a lot of stuff going on. That's fucking awesome.
And I like something I was afraid of when they announced it was like, I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like in E3, I was like, wow, this is great. But I hope that you can't just build indefinitely, and you definitely can't. You need to do some resource management and be like, prioritize. Do I really care about having an extra room? Because if I do this, like, I'm not going to have enough wood to, you know what I mean?
Another thing
build a cabinet.
I'm a little concerned about. I'm sorry, Eddie. If you want to continue.
No, I'm just saying. I was up to. All I'm gonna say is, I guess, to kind of summarize how I feel about the workshops. I was irritated. Like when I was trying to build something, and it told me like 8 times, build something that uses power. Build something that uses power. And I was like, how do I do this? I don't know what you're talking about. But when I figured it out, I was up till 4:30 in the morning building my house.
I didn't know you were online. I was up to like 3.
Yeah,
but my house is freaking.
Yeah, I was up building my house, and it was...
One thing that's annoying, though, is there's a standard glitch in Bethesda games. I don't know why, but some certain items you place will like sink into the tables or like sink through the tables, and that's really annoying, because like normal things that you actually build will be fine, but like I'm trying to like decorate my shit with like coffee cups and like ashtrays and stuff, and I swear, dude, they keep falling through the table, and it only started happening after Preston went into my house. So yeah. I think he like brought in some kind of voodoo spirit or something, because I don't know what happened.
Well, dude, I mean, like, okay. The other problem I have is I really hope that everything I'm doing is just not... It matters, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I don't know if I'm even far enough in the game yet to know this shit or not, but like, honestly, it's just like...
I think it's more of just a complete kind of... I think it feels to me like it's sort of a completely self-encapsulated thing.
But but then it really becomes tediously pointless after.
Well, that's why it's optional. I feel like here's the thing. I feel like they shouldn't have. They were right to not make it have any sort of bearing, because if they did, then people who didn't want to do it at all would be forced to do it.
No. I'm not saying it should have any sort of like bearing on like the actual like game. Well, I'm just saying no. Like, I'm just saying, it's like, I feel like they're not giving... There should be some sort of a bearing, I guess, then in the self-encapsulated...
No, I mean, that makes...
because, like, for the most part, it's like, what? It's like you have all these stations that have, like, they have the little warning thing next to them, because, like, they need defense, they need food, they need water. It's like, well, that's all well and good, but I can sit here and not do shit, and it's not going to matter either way if I get them any of the things they need... No one's attacked any of the camps. No raiders have attacked the camps, so I don't give a fuck about that. No one's died. I don't feel any sort of pressure.
Okay, well, we need to move. We've been spending like 10 minutes on this. Just move on.
Sorry.
So, yeah, no. To summarize it, they need to describe it a little bit better, but it's a fun system when you get a hang of it. Sure. So, moving on from that, another new mechanic that I don't know how I feel about it yet. It's my main complaint, because I want to end this with, like, I'm not completely turned on to the game yet, is the perk system and the way you level up and things. For me, it doesn't feel as RPG as previous Fallouts. It works well, and I do find myself making choices still, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, eventually I can level up to get, whatever perk it is I'm getting, or like, eventually I can level up to bring up my endurance, because it, you infinitely level up. And granted, it takes longer as you keep going, but you still can. And I feel like my special selection at the beginning of the game doesn't affect the game as much as I would like it to have. And I know they did this. Because I remember seeing an interview somewhere to kind of answer what people liked about Skyrim so much, which was like the progressive leveling, play the way you want. So they were saying, like, okay, let's say you picked high charisma, and it turns out you kind of like to shoot your way through the game. Well, then you can turn up your perception and agility so that you're better at shooting, which I guess I get, but for me, it takes away from some of the elements I liked in the other Fallout games, and it doesn't make it feel like I'm influencing my game as much as I guess I would like to. It's hard to explain. I just feel like it took away from some of the RPG elements that I liked in 3 New Vegas, like skill allocation and things like that. But I mean, I'm not super far into the game yet, so I haven't really been able to flesh it out as much as I would have liked to. But I want to get your thoughts on that.
I think it's fine. Overall, I don't mind it, because for me, I definitely think they should have changed the one from 3, and I'm glad they did, because that one, like, it didn't make sense. Like, you hear this argument all the time, and like it's kind of not that great of an argument, but like it's worth mentioning. It's like the fact that you just did a mission where you just like sniped someone, and then I just suddenly got better at lock picking,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. There's still sort of that feeling here, but then it's sort of less so because it's tied to your pre-allocated skills in that way. So it's hard to say. I think that for me, it's like, actually the thing that for me is, honestly, is that I look at the perks, and like there are a few that are sort of essential ones, like lockpicking and stuff, and like the local leader perk and whatnot.
Yeah, supply chain. Yeah.
But then there are a lot of them that I see that are like, oh, that'd be fun, but do I really need that? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like how I would summarize it, how I feel about it, is that the perks don't do as much for you as I would want them to.
No,
like,
I feel
they don't
that
have
completely.
as much of an effect.
I feel
and it's fine because like it feels more like a shooter in that respect, which is cool. Like, I don't mind, and
it's
in the respect of the leveling system, yes, it does feel less RPG. But then everything else that you can do is like, holy shit.
Well, yeah.
So I don't know.
Still, like,
it meets somewhere in the middle.
It's still your character, and it's still your house and things like that. And I agree, but I also agree with what you said about perks. That it honestly, the comparison I made was Far Cry, and that a lot of them are not like local leader and things. They're just like, grants 20% more accuracy with rifles, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I don't need that, And it's, I guess, yeah, it's just not affecting me as much as I would like. And I think they could have addressed that a little better with maybe like putting a level cap, like a high level cap, like 50 or 60, but still having that there.
The thing is like, apparently when you get to like 50, it becomes like super, super slow to the point where it basically is a cap. But
okay, and we'll see. Like I said, I want to hold off on too much judgment till I get to that point. But that's the main thing that I'm wary about in this game so far, and I want to see how it plays out. But
I want to see how endgame perks feel, But,
overall, I would say this is a game that is far greater than the sum of its parts.
That's a good way of putting it.
This is I don't think I've ever played a game that encapsulates that as well as much as this game does.
Okay,
there are
Eddie.
things that when you take. There are things.
I was gonna say, here it is, Ed. Give it the number.
No, I don't have it yet.
Here she is.
We don't have.
This is it.
I mean, this is a game that when you take in isolation the graphics, you're like, these graphics aren't very good. Or you take in isolation the building mechanics. The building mechanics aren't very good. But then you put everything together, right? The gunplay and the graphics and everything. It's like, wow, this is an awesome game and an incredible package.
It's sort of a jack of all trades, but maybe a little bit more than a jack.
Oh, it is. It's more than that because it is.
Dude, if you can say nothing else about this game, it is fucking ambitious.
It's ambitious and it's addicting. I've already
skipped class. And I never.
Oh my god. Yeah, me too. I went to class because I had a test. That's pretty much the only reason I went. Yeah, and I haven't been this sucked into a game world since I'd say Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. I mean, I am addicted. I love this game. I'm going to be putting way, way, way too many hours into it. The power armor system has me already addicted because I'm looking for the Enclave armor. But yeah, that's our what was going to be short review discussion. We'll be putting out, like I said, our final score later, probably next week. And
put out the final score right now. What's the final score as of right now? I don't know.
I honestly can't say.
I would feel wrong
right now. I would feel
10
wrong
out of 10. 11 out of 10.
Yeah, 12 out of 10 to 0 out of 10.
Damn.
Todd Howard's a liar.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Have you seen those videos?
Yeah, they're so funny.
Okay.
It's weird. I mean, not saying that this is a bad thing or anything. I just feel like I could review it only playing as much as I've played so far.
No.
I feel like I could.
How far? Hey, Ethan, have you beat the story?
No.
Then you can't review it. Then you can't.
No, I can't. I can't because the story doesn't matter to me. I mean, at all. I mean, like.
No, okay, but that's subjective. Objectively,
it's
the story matters.
No. I know, but I wouldn't review it for the story. Like, I'm saying, if you want me to review it off of the gameplay, which I've experienced in full, the building mechanics, which I've experienced in full, and all the mechanics, which I've experienced in full, I can review that completely because I've played all the the mechanics of it. Sure, I can't grade the story because I haven't beat the story, but
you can grade, the mechanics and shit that you played because
Yeah, but that's only part of the review.
Okay,
I
well,
disagree
that's
with you,
not-
but
it's
that's
the
fine.
majority of the review. But
So, anyways, keep it tuned. We're gonna have a lot more about this game. We're probably gonna end up talking about it at some point for this week's podcast. But until then, take it easy, guys.
Fucking
we
ass.
love you. Hopefully, we get more
Sayonara.
subscribers. Bye.
Up to 12.
Up to 13. Bye.
it's a good ass game.